Hi, I'm really just making this for my friend, but I might stick it up on YouTube anyway, so now we're all friends. This is just a really basic tutorial on what to do now that you have a Google Classroom and some organization tips, and then some tips on how to make some really quick, easy worksheets out of stuff you already have that you've already made. Um, this is what my basic classroom looks like. This is where I spend all of my time in the Classwork tab. When you click Create, you're going to see topics down here at the bottom. That's what I want you to set up first. And always prior, I've always set up my tabs like that, my topics like that by unit. So here's like the Odyssey unit. But for this special time in our lives, I've been trying to set it up week by week, just help students and parents alike know kind of consistently what is going on for this week specifically. So I can later on like drag this Odyssey stuff and stick it back in the unit when things calm down. But for right now, this is a little bit more useful to me. I can also drag these. So like I can move this up on top of that when that week comes. So my students will see it up on top in their feed. This is a sample student. This would be my feed here, and I would see the exact same thing that my teacher does under classwork. So I would also see it under stream, but the stream will get really long. So this is a much easier way maybe to organize right now. I don't know, just my suggestion. But when you create topic, it asks you to add something in. Normally it would be my fancy unit name, but it's just going to be this week. Add. And then here's another one that I had made prior. You can redo these, rename these, drag them around. I'm going to delete this one for now. So now I just want to create a quick assignment. If you already have a worksheet like you would print off like this, either in Microsoft or in Google Docs already, you already have a worksheet that you can send out to your students. So I wanted to make that really clear to everybody because I think a lot of people were really stressed about like sticking this into a Google form and they've never used Google Forms before. And you could, and that's totally probably a separate video, but let's just assign this. I want them to type in answers. Let's just assign that. How would I do that? So I go back here and I click assignment. The only difference between quiz assignment and assignment is the quiz one gives you a blank Google form if you want to do that. But I'm just going to click assignment and I'm going to type in worksheet, and I would probably type in like a real title, but this is just all sample here because I just had that open. It's in my recents. I'm going to click add. And now the worksheet's here. I can put instructions if I want. And I want to go ahead and let all students have a copy of this. So I'm going to go down to make a copy for each student. And that means they will all get their own version of this that they can type on and edit, and I can read their answers that they've typed in and grade it. I can also assign that to all of my classes at once. I can also choose which students I want to assign it to, and I can change the point value at any time or leave it ungraded if I want. I do recommend using due dates, especially in times like this, because that is how it triggers to send notifications that you have work due to both you and your guardians if you've added in any guardians. So I'm going to click on here and pick a date. Now, under topic, I want to use that topic that we just created of this week. Don't worry about rubrics or originality reports. That definitely is something for another time. When I click assign, it will go live, or by clicking that arrow, I can choose what day I want it to go live. So if you wanted to go live in a week, you can choose the day and it'll pop up only on that day. I will see it as the teacher just grayed out, but my students won't see it until it goes live. So here's my assignment. I can see I have 0 turned in and 1 has been assigned. I can actually view my student and I can actually open her document when she accesses it. And my student's a she because it's me. You have to excuse my slow Wi-Fi here. So here's my worksheet on the student end. This is the student view. I'm going to go ahead and open my assignment. And now I can type in my answers. So if you had that worksheet, I can type in whatever I want. So you don't have to create anything special for your students to be able to use this. So normally, once it's been open, I have to refresh a lot because the stuff doesn't normally just update like that. There you go. I can view it. This is the teacher view. Now I'm looking at my student's work. I can see that she's working, but it hasn't been submitted. So I can check on progress even without things being turned in. And let's say it's been graded or it's been submitted. This is where I would enter in the grade. And I would use these arrows to just toggle through and quickly look through each of my students' pages. So I know it's not a stack of paper, but it's still fairly convenient. And you already have these made probably. So it's not a big deal just to push them out digitally. You don't have to do anything special. Your students know how to fill in a page like this. So it'll be okay. A couple of things. I'll look at the student view. Let's say I did not want to attach a document at all. Maybe I want them to just type me something. Students also have the option, let's just pretend that that wasn't there. They also have the option to create something new. So a new doc, a new slide, a new sheet, a new drawing, or put in a file or a link, something from their Google Drive. So if they had a worksheet at home, let's say this is something that I'm setting up for my kids now. Let's say they had a worksheet they had at home. They did not turn it in on the due date because they were absent or they were there on that day, but they didn't finish it. And now it's late and it's going to be like 3 weeks, 4 weeks until I see them. You could have them take a picture and submit it here. So I was going to have kind of a late work catch-all that if you have something you want to submit pictures of, do it here. Just put it in a Google Doc and label it with a name. And so that's an easy way for me to kind of keep organized on what late work I have. So that's also an option. You can assign Google Forms the same way. I just did that one by going to Classwork and assigning a form. So if you have created forms before and you've done this maybe for quizzes and you've just maybe emailed it to students, you can just go in here and add a Google form and it will self-grade as long as you have it set up for that. The video is definitely not long enough for that. But like these are all Google forms, so I could pick this and add it to it and it will be here for my students to use and take and put in their answers. And if I have it where it is set up with a key, like it's set up like a quiz, I will have an option down here to import grades. This one's not, it's just a survey. But just to show you how easy it is to attach these things. Hopefully that helps at least get you started. And if you've got already made worksheets, like I said, like this, it doesn't have to be fancy. This is ready to go right now. So maybe that takes something off of your plate, thinking that you have to make special things. You already have special things. You just have to know how to share them. And now hopefully you do, and hopefully that makes sense. And hopefully you are a little bit more at ease about what to do with your Google